In our last video, we folded a laptop screen right here. Today, we get to experience where it all began, at least for consumers. This has been a year of incremental updates for Samsung's devices. We saw this with the Galaxy S22 series, and those tweaks have trickled down to the Z Fold 4 that was launched last month, that is August. Samsung's premium fold line has come a long way since 2019, and the Z Fold 4 brings all the improvements that the Z Fold 3 needed. A new modified design, new software for the large screen, battery life improvements, new camera and processor upgrades. So why don't we compare the former and the current? Words a man should never utter about their spouse. And see the progress made. From Techweez, I'm Martin Githenji with the Samsung Z Fold 3 and Z Fold 4 comparison review. Let's take it and go. From first look, we notice some slight differences. Thinner hinge, lighter phone, shorter height, slightly smaller bezels, and wider body. The hinge is firmer now and keeps serving as a tripod for taking videos and photos, plus as a stand when you're watching movies or TV series. The stronger hinge is accompanied by the Armor aluminum sides for tougher drop and scratch resistance and Gorilla Glass Victus Plus that makes the Fold 4 feel more premium and sturdier. The Fold 3 uses regular Gorilla Glass Victus for protection. Both the Z Fold 3 and the Z Fold 4 have IPX8 water resistance thanks to the anti-corrosion material, rubber sealants, and waterproof components developed by Samsung. The Fold 4 has no protection against dust, but there are brushes inside the hinge to keep as much dust out as possible and also sweep any dust out that makes it through the hinges. For assurance, Samsung says that its foldables can hold up to 200,000 folds. Until I saw that it is machines that do the folding, I always wondered, whose job is it to wake up in the morning to go to the factory and just fold each phone before packaging 200,000 times? Not a job I would mind though. I mean, it's just as easy as to fold. Okay, ningumu. Moving on, we also get stereo speakers tuned by AKG located at the bottom and the top, with the Fold 4 louder than the Fold 3. The bottom has a USB Type-C 3.2 charging port and a side-mounted fingerprint reader for both devices. The top speaker functions as an earpiece when you fold the device. Both support 2 nano SIM and 1 eSIM, and you can only have 2 at a time. 1 nano SIM and 1 eSIM, or 2 nano SIMs. Both have 3 microphones at the top and 1 at the bottom, and there is no support for external micro SD card. The Fold 4 has a much wider cover screen at 6.2 and a 7.6 main screen, both of which are dynamic OLED screens with 120Hz of variable refresh rate. The main display has a plastic screen protector, which you should not remove. I repeat, which you should not remove. And it shuts ultra-thin glass and other structural layers. The screen protector goes all the way to the bezels to prevent dust accumulation. The stylus is only compatible with the main screen. However, you'd need an S Pen Fold Edition or the S Pen Pro, all sold separately, and not the regular S Pen from the S22 Ultra. They are the best screen across the board with 1200 nits brightness with support for HDR10+. You'll definitely enjoy consuming content on the Fold 4, from binging Netflix and YouTube, scrolling social media, browsing the web, reading books, and interacting with news apps. This is the perfect phone for TikTok, by the way. And the weight difference between the two? 8 grams. Not very significant weight difference, I would say, but it seems to be very significant to others. I am looking at the others. Fold 4 comes in Phantom Black, Beige, Burgundy, and Grey-Green, while the Fold 3 comes in Phantom Black, Phantom Silver, and Phantom Green. Fold 4 uses 2 copper digitizers and AI-based prediction algorithm. It uses magnets at the edge so that the fold actually closes and the magnetic force is lowered when it is unfolded, so that the electromagnetic energy doesn't interfere with the digitizer that detects the S Pen. Overall, I really like the new improvements across the board. It's lighter, has a wider cover screen, and the more square aspect ratio makes it easier to type on. The screens are the brightest, even when put against other foldables. The reinforced hinge is pretty welcome, and the IPX8 standard waterproofing is the cherry on top. On the inside, we have a Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 on the Fold 4 and Adreno 730 GPU paired with 12 GB of RAM that you can expand up to 20 GB with additional 8 GB virtual RAM. You also get 256 GB of UFS 3.1 fast storage. Storage options go all the way to 1 TB, but 512 GB is what is available officially in Kenya. Apart from that, we have Android 12L and One UI 4.1.1. Now, Android 12L is Google's mobile OS for foldables and tablets and Chrome OS devices. The Fold 3 comes with a regular Android 11 with One UI 4.1, upgradable to Android 12L, and soon to One UI 4.1.1. It is powered by the older Snapdragon 888 5G chipset and Adreno 660 GPU. As a productivity device, the Fold 4 nails it as a powerhouse. There is a dedicated taskbar for multitasking, and you can launch up to 4 apps and an additional pop-up app. The taskbar will show you a minimized version of your dock icons when you're not on the home screen, which is nice and would only work on a large screen. You can also have it show recently opened apps, and you can drag them to the screen to launch them in multi-window mode. This is handy as it is more comfortable to navigate this on a square display, as some apps follow this interface too. This is a significant improvement from the Fold 3. We have app pairs that are a sweet addition to Android 12L, and the groupings will sit within the recent apps on the dock so that when you tap on them, they will open in split view. I really enjoyed using the taskbar turned dock as it makes switching between apps really easy. This productivity-driven feature makes the Fold 4 so appealing. Another handy feature is Flex Mode that lets you have controls on the bottom for some apps when you fold the phone half open. Apps like the gallery, camera, clock, YouTube, and more. The Fold 3 doesn't have this option. Other apps are still awkward with this whole screen real estate. Instagram is one of those apps that sits in the middle with the option to align left or right on the Z Fold 4. I'm not surprised though, as there is no Instagram app for the iPad 2. The Meta-owned app needs to make a new Instagram for the large screens from the ground up. For those curious about the synthetic benchmarks, the Fold 4 shows impressive numbers on Geekbench. It scored 4125 for multi-core and 1341 for single-core performance. The Fold 3 scored 3500 and 1126 respectively. Gaming is amazing on this phone. Most games played at their maximum frame rates thanks to the speedy processor and gigantic RAM amounts, plus the high screen refresh rate. From Asphalt, Dead Effect, Ninja Arashi 2, the animations and scrolling are really smooth, perfect for immersive gaming on the Fold 4. Overall, I loved the feature-rich software and the faster and newer processor. For optics, the Z Fold 4 has 5 cameras and the main lenses are an upgrade from the Z Fold 3. There is an under-display camera that is much improved from its predecessor, but still the same 4 megapixels. It's still visible, but now less distracting unless you're really looking for it. It is usable for video chats, but I used it the least. The under-display camera is better on the Z Fold 4 than the 3, as the colors are much better. Portraits are better as it has better edge isolation. We also have a 10 megapixel selfie camera in the punch hole cutout, just like the Fold 3. Selfies are better on the Fold 4, as it does a relatively good job of capturing skin tone. The main cameras get a much needed upgrade from the Fold 3. We get a 50 megapixels main, a 10 megapixels telephoto with 3 times optical zoom, which is an improvement over the 2 times optical zoom of the Fold 3. The Fold 4 can do 30 times digital zoom. We also get a 12 megapixels ultra wide. The Fold 3 has a 12 megapixels main, a 12 megapixels telephoto with 10 times maximum digital zoom, and a 12 megapixels ultra wide. The Z Fold 4's 3 times zoom is more versatile, as you can get a little closer to faraway objects without losing quality. For video recording, resolution starts at 8K 24 frames per second, 4K 60 FPS, 1080p 60 and 240 FPS, and 720p 960 fps. The main and telephoto can do 4K at 30 and 60 fps, while the ultra-wide does 4K maxed at 30 fps. The under-display camera supports 1080p at 30 and 60 fps. The selfie camera on the cover screen does 4K 30 and 60 fps and 1080 30 and 60 fps. Video stabilization is available on all modes of the camera. Sweet! The Z Fold 3's main camera supports shooting video at 4K 30 fps and 1080p 30 fps and lacks optical image stabilization on the ultra-wide camera. The photos and videos are really good on the Z Fold 4 in comparison to the Fold 3. From the detail, to the contrast, to the saturation, to the natural bokeh of the shots and dynamic range. This translates as well to the low light and night performances. The main cameras can be used for selfie shots and videos, and you get that cinematic blur. The ultra-wide gives you a good view. The main selfie camera has a wider field of view, and shooting is better at 30 fps rather than 60 fps, and there is no background blur. You literally have so many options to shoot with. The cover screen preview on the Z Fold 4 provides all selfie options buttons to interact with when you use the main cameras to take selfies. Those options are not available when you use the main camera to take selfies on the Z Fold 3. On batteries, the Fold 4 comes with 4800 mAh battery that uses 25 watt fast charging and 15 watt fast wireless charging. It takes 30 minutes to go from empty to 50%. The Fold 3 charges slower as it takes the same amount of time to get to 33%. To fill it up, you need 1 hour and 19 minutes for the Fold 4, while the Fold 3 takes 1 hour and 46 minutes. Even with its large screen, you can pull a full day. I was getting at least 8.5 hours on average with heavy use. Light use will get you a day and a half, which is impressive. No more battery anxiety with the Fold 4. The Fold 4 is a great foldable that showcases refinement over its predecessor. The company views foldables as key to the future of its mobile lineup, and them having over 80% market share inherently makes them shape the foldable market as a whole. For the premium price, the Fold 4 does everything and some more. It's a significant step up, with nice-to-have features from the more polished and solid look, amazing displays, trimmed down bezels, to the much-needed camera upgrades and optimized software that is important to multitasking and productivity, and the improved fast charging. The crease is still an issue, and Samsung says they are working to reduce it by either using different materials or making it larger, as it would put less stress on the display and possibly make for a less noticeable crease, as it will be spread more smoothly. The Z Fold 4 starts at 257,000 Kenya shillings for the 12GB 512GB option at official Samsung retail stores countrywide. It is also available on e-commerce sites like Masoko. Samsung has partnered with Badili to allow for trade-ins. You can trade in your current or old device and get an additional 25,000 on the residual value to purchase the Z Fold 4, with the remaining balance of the actual cost to be covered by you. Samsung has also partnered with Aspira to let you buy the Fold 4 in installments. You pay a 20% deposit as down payment, then 34,270 shillings for 6 months with 0% interest on the purchase, and gets you the standing cover with S Pen and Samsung Care Plus 1-year free screen protection. This is available at any of the Samsung Experience stores across the country. Make sure to like this video, share, and subscribe to the channel to keep you updated on the latest in consumer tech. Till the next one, we done tech it. Now you go.